So this is Baruch here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and right now it's time we're going to come into Parshas Vayeitzeh. That's the Parsha of our week. Let's pick a place in the Parsha to start learning a little shtickle Zohar. Now, you'll learn along with me. I didn't prepare this, so you'll learn along with me. You'll see, what it's like to learn with me, or what I have to work with in order to get started to say something nice. Now, one of the things that people ask, a person asked in one of the shiurim, uh, well, who is Zeranpin? Well, the Zeranpin is so much to say about Zeranpin. Let's say that the Zeranpin is the gematria of what we call Ma, 45. So how we get to that? So it's Yud Vav Dalet K Aleph Vav 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 K Aleph. It's a way of spelling Yud K Vav K, spelling it out. Comes a gematria 45. 45 is the gematria of Adam, man. So in a way that you're tracing in those little words that I said there, you're tracing really the origin of the creation of a physical body by understanding its spiritual roots. And the spiritual root of man is this concept called Zeranpin. It has other names too. It depends on its context. And sometimes it's called the Vok, the six kitzvos, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Yisod. Sometimes it's called Tferes because it represents a concept called the middle line. So all of these different things and the different possibilities of what they mean, they are in fact contained, and everything that you need to know about studying Kabbalah is contained in the Otros Chaim. I use a particular version. Rabbi Memran has an Otros Chaim. The Otros Chaim is the basic book of Kabbalah. And one of the main things that it does is it introduces you to the language of Kabbalah, which is not the same language as the Torah, the written Torah we read and that we learn, or the oral Torah, the language of the Babylonians, but the Babylonian Talmud. Uh, the language of the Zohar itself is very similar to Onkelos because it's called what they call Western Aramaic. We're going to start looking at that. Over here in the Zohar is really the basic treatise that takes us beyond this world to understand the creation of the world, which is still happening, and the origins of the creation, to be able to see it. The basic book was presented and written by Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai, and all the stories that we've learned about Rebbe Shimon. Now, mostly people who are exposed, I've had many people who come to me and they say they want to know what I'm doing. So not too many people can learn this material. It's very limited number of people who can handle it. I guess it's the light that's in it. It's not really what I say that it's what draws me. What draws me to this. So over there you can learn the language, and now we're going to go into the Zohar, and the Zohar is really the big text. And the Ari came in the 1500s, like the 1560s, into Sfat, and really gave us the tremendous guide to understand how to open up the Zohar. So here we're going to look at the Zohar. We're on page Shin Lamed Aleph, and this is the parsha this week. It's Parshas Vayeitzeh. We'll do a little bit, and we'll see if we can understand, first of all, the words of the Zohar, the Aramaic itself. So I have problems with some of these things, but we'll see how it goes. We have a Matuk Midivash. It's fantastic. He says, Rochel Lidos trade tzaddikim v'hochi is chaze. So Rachel Imenu, she gave birth to two tzaddikim. Now we know in other places that the word tzaddik refers to Yisod. Yisod is the fount, the end of the nozzle, from which all goodness comes. So he says, Rachel Lidos trained tzaddikim v'hochi is chaze, and that's the way it appears. Hashmita, the Bain trade tzaddiki yas v'la'alma. So I had to look up this word Shemitah. Now we understand the Shemitah. Shemitah is every 7th year. So the fact is that Shemitah is also the concept of Malchus. That's what he said. I cheated and I looked a little bit at the Mato. So he says that the Shemitah, he says that's in between the trade Tzadiki Yasvala Almi. So she is always, that is the Malchus, is always in between these two Tzaddikim. And the question is what does he mean? So he said, Tzadikim Yirshu Aretz, that Tzadikim, they will inherit the land. Land refers to Malchus. So the tzaddikim are plural. Malchus is similar. Aretz, Aris, these kind of language of Damal, Aretz refers to Malchus. Malchus is the bottom sphera, just like in Shemitah, the 7 years. Malchus is the seventh sphera. Tzaddik le'ela b'tzaddik l'tata. One of the tzaddikim comes first, and then there's another one below it. Tzaddik le'ela minei nagdon mayin iloyin. So he says that in the tzaddik that's up above, from him, this is where flows out. I'm going to say nagdam means flows out. Mayim iloya, that is the shefa of bracha that came from up above. Because another thing is, we're talking about Zer Anpin. Zer Anpin is the name of a partzuf. So here's another Kabbalistic word. The word partzuf means a system for processing light. It is a system actually of basically 10 spheros. And those 10 spheros from Kesser down to Malchus, that light flows from the very top in Kesser, which is an overwhelmingly powerful light, and gets filtered down through the midos. This is where the word midos comes from. The midos of Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, and then ultimately flowing into Malchus. These midos are measurements which limit down the light so that ultimately it could become in the form of a tipo, a little drop, to us. And that would be our bracha, speaking about the bakers and all different things we're doing. So he says like this, let me see, where was I up here? I was up here. Tzadikim Yushu Armet, Tzadik Le'ela, V'Tzadik D'Tat, Tzadik Le'ela. From that upper Tzadik, Minei Nagdam Mayim Elohim. This is where flows out, or opposite them is the Mayim Elohim. In other words, it's a collector, a refractor of light into midos. Midos, once again, means really measurements or quantities. And so, in other words, the light that pours through Chesed is not going to be handled in the same way that the light that goes through Gevurah, because Gevurah is on the left side, it's dinner. So therefore, it's going to contract that light in a certain way, and also the light will be limited by Chesed, which is the complete flow of water, the uninterrupted flow of water. So all of these things, it goes from one place to the next 6 different times. And as it comes down, it ultimately winds up in the Yesod, and that's what she's saying. Once Yesod, and then there's another Yesod. Then she said, Tzaddik L'Sata. There's always also a Tzaddik down below. Minei Nova Nukva Maya Lagabe Dechura B'Ti'uv D'Shalim. Wow, what a state. From this lower Tzaddik flows out from the Nukva, that is from the female aspect, which is Malchus. Maya, water, that is the desire. Lagabe Dechura, to her male counterpart. She is calling to her male counterpart, B'Ti'uv D'Shalim, with a complete and total desire. Tzadik B'Sitra Da, but Tzadik B'Sitra Da, the tzaddikim on both sides of her. Just like we say that the male up above rests between 2 females. Now, I'm not sure what that meant. Maybe it refers to Yaakov Avinu, who had 2 wives, or Zer Anpin, who, that's another way of saying Yaakov Avinu also is sometimes called Zer Anpin. So he says the same thing is true, just like the Nukva up above. But we have to see what she meant by that. And I think he means Malchus, in the sense that Malchus is also Leah and Rachel. So he says that maybe that's what it meant. Well, we have a Mata Kutavash. We're not lost here. Valda Yosef ben Yamin trains tzaddikim ninhu. So therefore, now let's focus. The name Yosef, we're talking Kabbalah now. This is the Sod. The name Yosef refers to tzaddik. Tzaddik is Yesod. Yosef Zohar Vayeitzeh, he was Zohar to become the tzaddik up above. Now the mystery is what does this mean? The tzaddik, he is the Yesod. He's the nozzle. What's the right word? The fountainhead from which all bracha can come to Malchus. The Nader As Kaima. And why was it? What did he do that made it so important to really understand the soul of what happened with Yosef? But we have to understand this phrase. It is extremely important. He says the reason why he's called the upper tzaddik is because he kept his bris. He didn't get involved with the shiksas. We know what the world is like. And I'm from St. Louis. And so when we were in college, we used to go down to the black neighborhoods. Like a completely different world. That's what happened to Yosef. Yosef wound up on Eastern Avenue in St. Louis. Okay, he was working for the man over there. Let's understand that. In that situation, he was not there oskayama. Oskayama means the bris. He didn't pollute himself with that, and he met. What does this mean? The secret of what this means is it allows the flow from up above, the bracha, which is a bracha, to come clean without being perverted along the way. So he said, Binyamin Ihud Tzadik L'Sata. Now the name Binyamin, who's his brother, comes from Rachel. Who's Rachel? Rachel is the Ikaret Abayit. She is Malchus. So she produces these two tzaddikim. You need to get it up above, down below, and let's try to track this down. There's Adrech Shemitah Bein Trei Tzaddikim in order to be able to crown the Shemitah, that's Malchus. That should be crowned between two tzaddikim. The question is that I understand from this who Yosef is. Yosef is the man who passed into Eastern Avenue in St. Louis, or East St. Louis. How about that? That's even better. Cast into East St. Louis with all the pollution around him everywhere, constantly, he maintains his breast. This is really, really important to the Zohar. So then we come to his brother. He's Binyamin. Ehud Tzaddik the Sata. He's the lower Tzaddik. Let me see. Am I recording? It says I'm recording. I can't find my recording thing. Okay, he's the lower Tzaddik. His Antra Shemitah Bein Trei Tzaddikim, so that he becomes a different Tzaddik down below. Yosef a Tzaddik and Binyamin a Tzaddik. Both of them are Tzaddikim. Oh, so that's it. Here, I don't know where my thing is. There it is right there. Okay, I'm just a little nervous about older and I'm not good with equipment. So I got something simple here that I was blessed with. And I want to thank you for listening. This is Baruch Fleischman. Tomorrow we'll look at the Matuk B'Davash and we'll put it together.